but it was placed in the right moment, right? I tell you, when you were singing that, see, you guys were harmonizing amazing. It was wonderful. Yeah, we can do our own. Okay. Good. Are we good? Hello, everyone. I was surprised I had to turn on my windshield wipers this morning. Yeah, and my heater. Can you believe that? Coming over. So it's actually refreshing. It's been so hot over in the valley, so I enjoyed it. But I did not see an elk, not one. But that's okay. They're resting probably. So all we really need to know, we learn from nature. Every creature, every insect, every bird has its own beauty, wisdom, and inspiration to share with us if we open our eyes and our hearts to see and to feel. Lydia sent me some beautiful words about the spirit of the dragonfly, and that inspired me to write a sermon about the butterfly. There she is, right there. With your mask on, sometimes I can't recognize you. Well, this morning, I'd like to share a story with you. Once, in a little pond, in the muddy water under the lily pads, there lived a little water larva in a community of water larvae. They lived a simple and comfortable life in the pond with few disturbances and interruptions. Once in a while, sadness would come to the community when one of their little fellow larvae would climb the stem of a lily pad and would never be seen again. They knew when this happened, their friend was dead and gone forever. Then one day, one little water larva felt an irresistible urge to climb up that stem. However, he was determined that he would not leave forever. He would come back and tell his friends what he had found at the top. When he reached the top and climbed out of the water onto the surface of the lily pad, he was so tired and the sun felt so warm that he decided he must take a nap. And he slept. And as he slept, his body changed. And when he woke up, he had turned into a beautiful blue-tailed dragonfly with broad wings and a slender body designed for flying. So fly he did. And as he soared, he saw the beauty of a whole new world and a far superior way of life to what he had never known existed. Then he remembered his larva friends and how they were thinking by now that he was dead. He wanted to go back to tell them and explain to them that he was now more alive than he had ever been before. His life had been fulfilled rather than ended. But his new body would not go down into the water. He could not get back to tell his friends the good news. But then he understood that their time would come when they too would know what he now knew. So he raised his wings and flew off into his joyous new life. The dragonfly is one of my totems. They estimate that the dragonfly has been around for over 180 million years, which is longer than the dinosaurs, which is 165. So right there we know that they represent longevity and resilience. Their spiritual keynote is the power of light. They have a beautiful jewel-like coloring. The bright colors take time to develop, reflecting the idea that with maturity and growth, our own true colors come forth. Structures in their shells scatter and reflect the light, making them look iridescent green and blue. And as Ted Andrews says in his Animals Speak, he says, this ability to reflect and refract light and color has caused it to be associated with many forms of magic and mysticism, including color magic, illusion, and more. Dragonfly's magic is the power of light and all that has ever been associated with it. And they inhabit two realms, water and air. In their early life as a nymph, they live in the water. As they mature and go through their metamorphosis, they move to the realm of air. As Ted Andrews continues, it is not unusual to find individuals with dragonfly totems to be very emotional and passionate in the early years. But as they grow older, they learn to balance it with greater mental clarity and control. Sometimes it can indicate that the emotions have gotten shut down because of those emotional issues in early life. So if a dragonfly shows up in your life, it may mean that you need to look deeper at something emotionally happening in your life, or you may need to gain a new perspective or make a change regarding something in your life. Or it could mean that you are neglecting your emotions. Remember, they represent the power of light. Their realm is light, and they are very active in the warm summer days. And I imagine you've probably seen a few this summer, haven't you? Yeah, they're gorgeous. Light means clarity, awareness, and a higher consciousness. So when they show up, they are either sending you a message to stop and check in on your emotions, or they are affirming your clarity and awareness. If they show up for you, expect a change to occur, for they represent transformation. They undergo complete metamorphosis, unlike most insects, such as butterflies. Dragonflies do not have a pupal stage and transition straight from a larva to an adult, and this takes place out of water when they come up on that little lily pad within 1 to 3 hours. That is how fast, very quickly. So for me, it means we can raise our consciousness levels easily and effortlessly when we become committed to doing that. So that is a very big lesson from our dragonflies. Now, as we look at our story, we see that most of the dragonfly's life is in the water as a larva, eating and trying to stay safe. They fear that those who have moved on are dead. And as we relate this to humans, it reminds me of how we can create a box of routines and comfort, afraid to move out of that box to something new. However, our souls are watching this. And as John O'Donohue writes about our souls, it watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? So our souls want us to move beyond the stuckness that we create in our lives because of fear. Change is inevitable, and when we stubbornly refuse to move, and we do stubbornly refuse to move sometimes, don't we? When change becomes very important to us, then we can stifle our growth. We will always grow, but we can sure extend that period of growth when we do that, don't we? And we can remain in this darkness, so to speak, much longer than we really need to. Eventually, we awaken to the spirit of adventure and the knowing that something is missing. And you can feel it in your heart, can't you? There's something missing here. There's something that is calling me. And this is when we find the courage, the energy, and the excitement of change beginning to grow so big within us that we have to do something. We just have to do something. And as this little larva, we must climb that stalk and move from the water to the air. Water represents emotional release. It represents intuition and inner reflection. And this is the time that there is this inner growth and maturity in intuition and the ability to go beyond the emotions of fear. We then can take that journey up that green stalk. Now, air represents intellect, mental intention, and connection to the universal life force. So here is the power of intention to create one's life, and to do so knowing that we are divinely connected to the universal wisdom of the all that is. And here is where we realize that we are empowered to create our own lives. Now the larva makes its transition into this beautiful dragonfly that it has always been in its soul. And its soul is so delighted, for now the dragonfly can soar and be free from the fears that it felt before. And we can relate this to dying in the flesh and moving from the physical plane. But we don't have to do that. We can also relate it to our everyday lives. In other words, we don't have to die to reach awakening. We can do it right here, right now, and amazing lives can be created from that consciousness level. And then we can go on and realize our full potential right here, right now, in the flesh. And then there's no turning back. It's just wonderful, isn't it? So when you're caught up in fear, you cannot see truth. Everything around you is distorted. It seems dangerous. And you limit your life through this fear, do you not? Yes. When you release fear, you realize that fear is nothing. It is just some illusion that you have put in front of you based on all of your perceptions and the things that are happening. And as soon as you face it, it dissolves. It has no power, except for the power that we give it. The climbing up the stalk of the lily represents releasing the fears and realizing your full potential. And just like the dragonfly, you will glow with the color of life, freedom of flight, and the courage to be and do all that you want. You will fly. Have you not seen that in the faces of people? These broad smiles, these eyes that are beaming. These are the people who are living in love and not fear. They're living their lives. And we can see it in people's eyes, and we can feel it in ourselves. When you look in the mirror and you see that gleam in your eye, guess what? You're flying. Yes, you're flying. Some of our friends and loved ones may not be able to let go of the fears. They may not understand you when you finally do, and they will see that you are perceiving life differently, and they will not know what to do or how to handle that. And they might not follow you, but you have to go. You cannot allow anyone to hold you back. You have to follow your soul's calling, for you have come to the place where that calling becomes so strong. Do you know what I mean with that? Haven't you felt it within you, your heart, that you just have to do something different? That is your soul telling you it's time to move forward. And you finally have the courage to step out of that box. If the others don't, remember their time is coming. Because everyone takes this journey at their own pace, based on their learning and their growing and how they spend their time looking within and wanting to let go of those fears. And some people are so caught up in the fear they're afraid to move out of that box. But they have to someday. And so we need to understand that. And as we move forward, we just, keep them in our hearts with love. But we must go forward. Eventually, as I said before, everyone will move forward, our friends and our family, because everyone has to heed that call. So when your time comes, again, you must fly. You must fly. And when you reach that level of consciousness, you then know in your heart that they will come. You will have that understanding, and then you will let go of that fear about them. Because when we worry about others, we're actually praying for what we don't want when we do that, when we worry. So let go of the worry and just know that they are coming in their own time. And because no one is left behind. It's just a different pace, a different journey for each one of us. So I love the messages that all life forms teach us. And if we take time to study them and watch them, we will see every species, every form of being on this planet has a lesson for us. Every being and every form on this planet is here for us, to support us. When we open our hearts and look at nature in that respect, you will see amazing things. I was telling, I think, Mary this morning, every time I lose a loved one, a dragonfly comes to me. Dragonfly being light. And so I know it's a message. They're in the light right now, and everything is well. Now, those who have pets, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because our pets teach us all kinds of things, especially that unconditional love. And they don't even know what forgiveness is. They don't even have to forgive us. They just accept us. And so our pets are beautiful teachers. I call them angels, earth angels, that have come to show us so many things and give us so much love. So it's interesting also, I just wanted to mention that humans are the only species on this planet that have egos. You will not see that in the other species. They don't hold grudges. They don't hold resentments. They just live their lives in freedom. And that's what our soul actually wants us to do, is live our lives in freedom and let go of that fear that can put us in that little box and keep us stuck there. Now, the larvae of the dragonfly are always preparing for freedom. They may not know that at the time. I'm relating this to humans right now. But they are in their formative time, so that when they are ready to fly, it will come at that certain time, just like our little dragonfly today did. So when we humanized our little story for effect, we realize that these species really are showing us about ourselves, aren't they? Yes. And that we, in our fear, can create all kinds of scenarios that are not true, that are illusions, and that can control our lives if we allow them to do that. So let us not allow them to do that. So I think it's time for us all to awaken to who we truly are, and that there's so much to learn, especially from the dragonfly, which we're concentrating on today. But I ask you to look at everything. One time I watched an ant for 10 minutes. This little ant was carrying this piece of whatever it was that was 3 times its size, and it was determined. And I looked aside for a moment or two, and when I looked back, it was gone. It had gone somewhere. Whoops, it had gone somewhere, and I didn't even see where it went. But I was so impressed with that little ant and the size of the thing that it was carrying around. So to recap the lessons of the dragonfly, we are light beings. We are resilient, we are strong, and we are courageous, and we are free the moment that we decide to be free. It's that easy. We are eternal, with infinite possibilities and divine wisdoms to create. And we can be free while in this world, even though we are not of this world. So, excuse me. These are the words that Lydia sent to me. The spirit of the dragonfly symbolizes the pure truth that comes from stripping away all layers of illusion holding us back. Often in life, we can feel we are not good enough, and this false belief builds up in our innermost souls. Only after we push past these doubts can we truly fly. The dragonfly helps us release any restrictions we have put on ourselves and let us see our many abilities. So thank you for that, Lydia. So what is the advice from the dragonfly? Spend time near the water. Appreciate long summer days. Zoom in on your dreams, and I'm pretty sure the dragonfly does not mean zoom.com on your computer. Keep your eyes open. Enjoy a good read, R-E-E-D. Be colorful and just wing it. And I want to close with John O'Donohue again. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. Shall we go into meditation for a few moments? All right, so get very comfortable in your chair. Breathe deeply and close your eyes. Just let everything go for a moment. Feel your body, feel your heart, feel your breath, and allow your body to relax. And now, bring your attention to your heart and breathe from your heart, in and out from your heart. And as you do that, think of something in nature that when you think of it, you feel genuine love and appreciation. You feel it in your heart. Remember the last time you saw a dragonfly? Envision that in your mind right now. Remember its beauty, its iridescence, how easily it moved through the air with such grace and such ease. And remember how you felt when you were watching this. Perhaps your soul was saying, you can do this too. You can do this too. So just hold that thought in the silence for just a few moments. And remember that you can feel this anytime you wish. Just bring your thoughts of the dragonfly or any other species of nature. Bring it into your heart and feel it. And remember to ask it, what is your message for me? For they all have messages. So let's take a deep breath. Bring your attention back into this beautiful sanctuary. And I found this quote: "May you touch dragonflies and stars, dance with fairies and talk to the moon. May you grow up and live with love and gracious hearts and always know how loved you are. May you always remember your innocent, childlike nature. And may you see the wisdom of the dragonflies within you. Yes, always. All right. Thank you. Today in class, I hope you'll join us. What we're going to do is an exercise on finding your totem or totems. I have 3. And it's going to be wonderful. So if you don't know your totem, you can find out today in class. Or you can affirm your totem through this exercise. So thank you very much.